With what honestly feels like every single day, we are receiving breaking news on either increases to annual fees or devaluations in the credit card points and miles game. And with annual fees hitting the stratosphere, later this year, we are going to see the first consumer credit card almost topping $1,000, being the refresh Amex Platinum. And this $895 fee is starting to make other credit cards like the Venture X seem cheap at $395. Which takes us into the point of this video. Is a premium travel credit card necessary in 2025? As well as three questions you need to ask yourself before you apply for your first premium travel credit card. When you take an overall look at the credit card points and miles game state in 2025, you can see the big banks like American Express, Citi, and Chase are taking a more lifestyle approach to their premium travel credit card offerings. They're tailoring their premium offerings toward the affluent customer that utilize some of these higher end ecosystems, which is why we're starting to see credits from companies like Black Lane, Fine Hotels and Resort, and things like Lululemon, which are potentially coming to the American Express Platinum. So, unlike in the golden age of the credit card points and miles game, where almost everyone could justify having one of these in our wallets, with the skyrocketing annual fees as well as the couponification of the credit card, you need to take a very good look at all of the credits on a credit card as well as the annual fee and correlate it directly to your current lifestyle. And before anyone considers applying for one of these premium offerings like the Amex Platinum or the Chase Sapphire Reserved, I need you to take these three major things into consideration before you click that apply button. Because as we know, things like aspirational travel or a nice, shiny, elevated offer can definitely sway our decision in the wrong way. And the first thing I need everyone to consider is, do the benefits on the credit card match to your specific lifestyle? So while seeing a video from your favorite YouTuber talking about how amazing the newest premium travel credit card is, until you personally sit down and view your actual finances and what you would be willing to spend money on, you are not going to know if it's going to apply to your lifestyle. And the best way to visualize this is with the newest alleged credit on the American Express Platinum, which is the $300 Lululemon credit. This is allegedly going to be given in $75 increments 4 times a year, totaling $300 of credits towards the annual fee. But if you aren't someone that has ever purchased anything from Lululemon or see yourself spending hundreds of dollars on leggings or a new pair of pants, then this credit isn't going to apply to your lifestyle. And where the problems will begin to arise is if you force yourself to add money on top of that $75 credit for something that you never saw yourself purchasing in the first place. So, when you are calculating an effective annual fee, you need to look at what you normally would spend and pick the premium travel credit card that aligns with your personal spending habits. Another very general credit that is common amongst almost every single premium travel credit card is some sort of hotel credit. Whether it's the FHR credit on the American Express Platinum, the Edit Collection on the Chase Sapphire Reserve, or the $300 credit in the Citi Travel Portal on the Citi Strata Elite. The general theme here is usually that you're going to have to stay a minimum of 1 to 2 nights at a higher end resort, and they usually favor you paying in cash. The main reason I say pay in cash, because for example, let's say the FHR credit, you can sometimes pay at a 1 cents per point on your Amex MR points. But as we know, when you transfer these MR points out, we can capture as high as 2 cents per point. So paying in cash generally gets you a better deal. But where the drawback is if you are someone that doesn't see yourself paying out of pocket for a hotel stay. While this may be a drawback for some applicants, but if you are the targeted affluent customer for these higher end premium travel credit cards, then benefits for the FHR credit, such as complimentary breakfast, a $100 credit on site, late checkout, potential room upgrades, sounds like an amazing deal for something that you are already going to pay for. So, again, look at your current lifestyle, see what makes sense and what doesn't. And this way you can calculate an actual effective annual fee. What you are going to see is some credits are going to be knocked out of the park. For example, on the Citi Strata Elite, that $200 splurge credit, but others are going to have much less of a cost towards your effective annual fee for credits like, let's say, the Black Lane credit. Be honest with yourself when you're calculating these annual fees, and you will see which credit card works for you. When in doubt, the general rule is if you are not a large spender, the answer is the Capital One Venture X. Moving on to number two, and another driving factor that causes many people to get their first premium travel credit card is airport lounge access. But I need you guys to ask yourself one serious question, and is airport lounge access really worth it for you? Now, I'll be the first person to tell you airport lounge access has definitely changed my travel habits, especially for my international travels. I just returned from Lisbon, Portugal, where I had a 3 hour layover in Madrid on both departure as well as arrival. And when I tell you it is game changer to be able to spend 3 hours in an airport lounge access with free alcoholic beverages, sodas, food, you can name it, even beds in some of them, versus sitting at an airport terminal just being bored. This again changed my travel habits internationally, and I'm very honest with how I utilize my airport lounge access. I definitely am not someone that's going to arrive to the airport 3 hours early just to get some free beverages. I utilize this primarily on my international travels, and if any future things change that I no longer travel internationally, airport lounge access is definitely something that I need to bake into my effective annual fee. So I need you to ask yourself number one, how often are you traveling on an annualized basis? And number two, how often are you going to be in an airport lounge? Are you someone that's going to arrive in an airport lounge on a domestic travel day? Me personally, guys, I rather stay either home longer or stay in the area that I am internationally than getting to the airport to get some free beverages. But again, everyone's travel habits are differently. I'm not knocking the person that likes to get there early for airport lounge access. It's just not my personal strategy. Another aspect that you definitely need to take into consideration when choosing your premium travel card is how many people are you traveling with regularly. Since I travel with my wife 99.9% of the time, having a credit card like the Citi Strata Elite that allows me up to two additional guests without an additional charge into the Plaza Premium Lounges was necessary. Other credit cards like the American Express Platinum definitely do this, but where it starts to change is when you look at the Centurion lounges. Unless you are spending upwards of $75,000 on an annualized basis on your Platinum, you're going to have to shell out an additional $50 to take in a guest into a Centurion lounge. While I'm not knocking this, guys, it can be worth it for some people, but for me personally, the difference between a Centurion lounge and a Plaza Premium lounge is not worth $50. And if you do this multiple times a year, you are essentially increasing your annual fee in the hundreds of dollars. So when you are deciding on which premium travel credit card works for you, take a look at the exact lounge access that you're going to be getting, as well as their policy on guests, because this can either increase or decrease your effective annual fee by hundreds of dollars. Moving on to point number three, and a hill that I will forever die on, is that I believe a large majority of the credit card points and miles game can accomplish the same objective with a mid tier travel credit card. Sometimes I believe we are blinded by a shiny sign up bonus, the perks on a travel credit card, that we sometimes forget what a mid tier card like the Chase Sapphire Preferred can offer us. If we just take an objective look at the Chase Sapphire Reserve versus the Preferred, while the Reserve does come with a heightened $795 fee and a laundry list of credits, when Chase stripped away that 1.5 cents per point in the Chase travel portal, the large majority of us are going to be utilizing our Chase travel portal points for the world of Hyatt. And even aside from that, the major earners are not even the reserve or the preferred. It's going to be other cards like the Chase Freedom Flex, the Chase Freedom Unlimited, or some of the Chase Business Inc. credit cards. Taking the earning potential out of the equation, 1,000 points on your Chase Sapphire Reserved are 1,000 points on your Chase Sapphire Preferred when you transfer them out to any of the Chase transfer partners. So many people can still accomplish this without that heightened annual fee. Now, while the line does begin to get blurred, when these credits do legitimately apply to your life, and airport lounge access is necessary. Another perfect example, and I can be the one to say it because I pay that heightened $595 fee on the City Strata Elite, is that 99.9% of people can greatly benefit more from having the $95 City Strata Premier. I will die on the hill and say that I personally believe the Strata Premier is a better credit card than the 6 times higher Strata Elite. That's because the Strata Premier is not only going to have a $95 annual fee, but it's going to have 3x back on groceries, dining, gas, EV charging, and airfare and hotels at 2x. This credit card alone can honestly stand alone, and when we compare it to the Strata Elite, that is primarily a dining credit card, most people would heavily benefit from having the Strata Premier. because you're going to have access to American Airlines at the same ratio as the premium travel credit card. You're going to have access to some of the heavy hitter hotel chains like the preferred hotels and resorts. So you can accomplish 99% of the same things with a 6 times less annual fee. While you're not going to have lounge access or some of those kind of premium credits, most people can get the same job done at a $95 annual fee versus having to pay $595 to travel. Well, guys, that is going to conclude my rant on premium travel credit cards. While I am personally a premium travel credit card lover, I do want to just make it a point that you objectively look at your own personal situation to make sure that these credit cards are going to work for you. I don't want you guys to fall into the bank trap and pay these heightened annual fees and not even get 50% of the benefits in return. And in year one, I always want you to remember that these credit cards are going to pay themselves tenfold because you have the sign up bonus and can sometimes double dip on some of the credits. But never be scared to cancel a credit card if it's no longer working for you. There is no reason to pay a heightened annual fee if you are no longer benefiting from said credit card. Take a look every single year, make sure it still works for you. And we are here to beat the banks and travel in points and miles, guys. But we're going to end the video here. If you enjoyed this content, guys, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate you guys listening to this kind of rant on premium travel credit cards. And if you want another video on the Citi Strata Elite, I'll have one right here for you guys.